Next, we're going to do a bigger American flag, pine and poplar. So the poplar's a little rough. We're going to mill that up a little bit. The pine's not as rough, but it's not as nice when it is milled up. So we're going to just start cutting this up. The dimension is going to be, I think, 36, I think, and a quarter inches long altogether. So we'll cut two 37-inch sections here, and when we laminate them, we'll cut the final length at the end. And I think the height is going to be about almost 20 inches, I believe, in height. Up and down. So it's going to be 13 unions and about 1.5 inches each. So, or 13 stripes, I'm sorry. The union's going to be about 10.5 or a quarter inches top to bottom, and then I think it's like almost 15 inches from the inside to the out. Alright, so let's start cutting this pine up first, then we'll start cutting the poplar and milling it up. So we'll set our stop block, and then we won't need the measure anymore after that. This place is a mess right now. It's on this show. I'm going to hopefully take some time off. I keep saying that, but this will give us our 6, we're going to call these our white stripes. Then the poplar will give us our red. Okay, so like most projects that I do, if you watch any of my videos, we start the milling process, and there's nothing special about this. It's pretty consistent. We cut everything on the miter saw or circular saw, depending on the wood, to a rough length. Then we take it over to the jointer, table saw, and planer, depending on the quality of the wood. Sometimes we'll dictate that order. So here we're just getting these stripes ready. We're going to alternate each stripe. There's 13 stripes. We're going to alternate between pine and poplar. The pine will be the white stripes, and the poplar will be the red stripes. So we're just getting our union set up, make sure our measurements are good, make sure we have good lines here for lamination, and we're going to start getting ready to stain and laminate. Flags here. This is going to be the top. We'll try to get this straight as we possibly can with the straight edge. And we'll use these clamps here. Cut hold it in place. Not too tight. Take one here. Not too tight. See here, I'm laying everything out. We're going to get our union ready here, and we're going to use the scaffold. First, we're going to do a quick burn with a torch just to get a slight burn. We're going to do this in multiple times And here we're going to go back to the scalpel here and get our union prepared. Okay, so this video is mainly going to consist of a flag build. We're also going to build a set of coasters with some leftover poplar and pine. We're also going to mill some other lumber for other things we're going to be doing in the next series of videos. So here we're going to be using the flag trick here with the razor blades after we carve everything with a little scalpel. So we're going to use the razor blades and hammer, get our lines so we can keep the stain from dripping onto the white and red. So first we're going to start with the blue. This is navy blue. It's a varathane. It's a water-based tintable stain. We're going to use this for our union, and then we're going to use a water-based I think it's crimson or scarlet. I think it's crimson. What they had. It's also going to be a water-based tintable stain for our red stripes. So that's where we're at now. We're going to get ready to start staining everything up and go from there. So I'd like to use a foam brush to wipe on, and then we'll use a shop rag to wipe off any excess and just go from there. So we're just going to put this blue on up to the razor blade. It's very important not to have the bleed over. I do the sides, even though we're going to be cutting this later and want to redo it, but I like to do the sides. So, and also the insides of each stripe in case there's any like bowing or, you know, some of the wood's not, you know, 100% straight. So the blue shows on the inside and outside. So that's what we're doing here. We're just going to stain everything, wipe it down, and then we're going to go to the red next and do all the poplar stripes. The red's going to be pretty easy because I know it's going to be all the poplar pieces.
I'll start with this guy. So I'm going to mix up a little more.
So here I do another quick burn before we laminate, just so I can get the insides and outsides of the lines here. So here we're going to get ready to laminate. So this is important. With lamination of flags, especially, you want your union, the inside of your union, to be lined up. That's, to me, dictates my lamination, not the outside edges, just that inside union edge. Because where that razor blades and the scalpel, they all need to be perfect. So that's key here. That's what we're going to lay everything out, make sure everything looks good pattern wise, make sure we have no seams. Our seams are tight, and we're going to just use some Type Bond 3 glue and some clamps. We're going to use cabinet clamps and some pipe clamps, and also we're going to use some cauls to keep everything nice and level, because you know this is pine and poplar and it's pretty thin. It could bow out a little bit if you over tighten it. Like you can see here, I'm really making sure this union is straight, because this is key to your flag glue up. Like I said, I'm not concerned with the edges and ends because we're going to be cutting out the track saw later after the glue up is dry. So we're really concentrating on this inside union.
Glue these little stacks off this leftover wood. It's pine and poplar. I'm just going to make another set of coasters with this. See if I clean them up, make them look nice, and that's it. And I'm not going to video to glue up because I've done probably 10 of these so far, or whatever. So I'm just going to glue these up, and we'll clean them up tomorrow.
said I didn't video this part, but I actually did here, as you can see. So we're just going to glue these up, use some squeeze clamps, and move on. Let these dry overnight with the flag. I'm always multitasking when doing multiple projects. So we're also going to mill some other lumber overnight. So now it's the next day. We're going to take everything out of clamps, the coasters, and the flag here. And we're just going to get everything ready to carve out the flag eventually. Do another burn, and then we're going to set these coasters up here. So the coasters, I'm going to use a miter saw. I built, this is I think my 7th set. The other 6 sets I built and I cut them using the table saw and the sled. This you can also do, you can use a stop block on the other side of your miter saw and just 4 inches, and I just use that. To me it's almost a little safer, but as long as your stop block is correct, it's the same concept as using your table saw for this. So then we're back to the flag. We're going to cut to the final length here, each side, and we'll just use a track saw for this to make quick work out of this. So here I'm just running this little sander here, just mainly in the slats on the edges where there's some glue. So we're just going to get some of this glue off that we didn't get the chance to wipe off with the shop rags earlier. So this is just a very fine grit. And we're going to do one more burn, and then we're going to do another light sanding before we start to, clean this flag up and we're getting prepared for the carving out of the union.
And then we'll put some mineral oil on it and some polyurethane, and hopefully that will be it. Maybe we'll do one more light sanding after everything dries up. All right, let's go.
Okay, so here we're getting our template set up for our union. We're going to just put some tape, painter's tape, on the edges and bottoms, and we're going to get ready to start carving out. So I keep the template on the stencil for the carving outside of the stars and the lettering. So I use a very fine Dremel bit here, and we'll put all the part numbers of everything we're using in. So we're going to use a very fine bit here just to go around the stencil. And the Dremel we're using the Dremel 4000, and we're using the flex connector, the hose with it. It acts like a pen, so it makes it easier to handle and hold in your hand. Lowers the vibration and everything there, so you can carve out, pretty easy. So this we're doing here, we're just taking our time. We're going to carve out the outside of each star here, and then the lettering, and then we'll pull the stencil off eventually, and then we'll go with a little bit of a wider bit, and we'll hog the rest out. Okay, so now that we have everything carved out and we're ready to go, so we're going to start setting up the back. We're going to put some wood slats in the back. Then we're going to use some hanger wire. You can also use French cleats for this. We're just going to use some brad nails to hold it in, to respace it. So for this acts as 2 things. Lets you hang your flag, but also helps hold the slats together too. So we're going to put a brad nail in each slat from behind. So it hopefully gives a little structure to it also, to being able to hang your flag. Because when you hang these things, obviously you're going to the weight and gravity is going to try to pull those slats apart. So it's very important that everything's nice and secure here. So we're just going to use, like I said, a brad nail. We're also going to throw a couple screws in, countersink, and then we're going to use some wire and run some wire hangers. So that's what we're doing here. So to finish this flag off, we did one more burn. We're going to put some mineral oil on, add some pop to it, and then we're going to put some oil-based polyurethane on. About 3 coats and a little light sand in between each coat. So this flag will hopefully be done here. It came out pretty nice. It's a rustic, poplar and pine flag. It's not, some nice maple and oak, but it came out very nice. The seams came out real tight, and the color came out nice too, especially with the polyurethane. It gives kind of like a that yellowish, darker stripe. Looks really cool, I think. So we're going to finish these coasters up while we have the mineral oil out. We're going to, put a little chamfer on each edge with the little sander here, and then we're going to just put some mineral oil on these for some protection, and also to darken up the wood to make it have a nice look.
Have 9 ounces, so -1, we'll say 8 ounces.
Okay, so I don't have a crock pot available right now. We only have one, and my wife doesn't like me to use it for this. So we're going to use a pot here, and we're going to use a 4-to-1 ratio with some mineral oil and some beeswax. The beeswax pellets we put in after we heat up the mineral oil, and we let it heat up for about 15 to 20 minutes. Light stirring with a little stirrer here and there just to mix it up, but not too much, and just let it cool down. After it cools down a little bit, then we will we're going to set our timer here for 15 minutes. We had it run for a couple minutes prior. So it's going to be about almost 20 minutes combined total time cook with heat up. So we're going to let this heat up for a little bit, and then we're going to pour it in with a ladle in the tins that I have, and we're going to label the tins with one of my stickers after everything solidifies. Okay, so the board butter solidified, so we're going to put our lids on, and we're going to put our stickers on with our label and all of our information. It's like a business card. It's a good idea. So we'll sell these for $5 a tin, and we'll also give one away for each person who buys a cutting board. So here's a breakdown of all 4 projects, or 4 phases of this series. So everything we've built so far. So we have about $884 worth of in hopeful profits, and I haven't spent $1 on any material yet. So for the most part, so everything is pretty much just labor. The labor's been, fairly minimal, but it's been a little time consuming, but fun. So we're pretty much done this series here. We have another one coming up, at least one more. We're going to do some little furniture builds to bring something that's not too big. I don't want to bring big giant tables, because people aren't going to buy that at a craft show. But we can get some little stuff in here that people can carry around. I think it's ideal. Thanks for watching.